Congratulations on your purchase of your brand new Cloud Rider drone. We want to take you from the box to flying well as soon as possible, so let's get started. The first thing you need to know is this is your battery. It's removable from the drone, so if it's in your drone, pull it out. If not, you know what you're looking for. This is the battery, and on the end is that little red adapter. That's going to go into the end of your charging cable, which looks just like this. Right here on the end of the charging cable is the little socket that's going to marry perfectly with that battery adapter, just like that. And now you take the other end of your charging cable and put it right into any household outlet. Now the battery's charging, and I know that because the little red LED comes on the adapter. When that LED turns green, it means the battery is fully charged and ready to be disconnected and hooked into your Cloud Rider. We'll do that next and get you one step closer to flying your new drone. Once you have your fully charged battery, here's how you're going to install it. Turn your entire Cloud Rider around, and on the back side is a little door. It says push above it. Just give it a little downward pressure with your finger. It'll open, and inside is the cable that connects directly to your battery. Now make sure you're doing this on a level surface because your Cloud Rider is going to memorize what position is horizontal when you first plug it in. Once you do that, then you just slide the battery inside. You can tuck the cable in there with it, just like this, and then you grab that little door and you just close it just like that, okay? Now your battery's installed. There is no on-off switch for your Cloud Rider. As soon as you connect the battery, it instantly turns on, which you can see by all the flashing LEDs. Now we're gonna move on to controls and talk about how exactly you're going to fly it. So of course, if you're going to use the controller, the first thing you need to do is put your batteries in. 6 AA batteries fit across the back of your controller, and then you just take your little battery compartment lid and slide it right up into place. That's it, it's ready to go. Now, right now you'll notice on the drone itself, all the LEDs are flashing. That means it has not yet synced with a controller. It's actually looking for one. In my hand, the controller is turned off. You always want to make sure you turn your drone on first and then your controller. Now, when I flip the controller on, you're going to hear a series of beeps followed by a high-pitched one. Take a listen. When you hear that high-pitched beep, that means that the drone and the controller are now synced to each other. You'll notice all the LED lights on the drone have stopped flashing. They're on solid. That means that I can now activate the drone and control it from the remote. Now it's important to know which is the front and which is the back of your drone. The front of the drone is always marked by the orange propellers, okay? The back are the black propellers. Now if you're flying it below you, it's easy to look at the propellers and know the color, but if it's above you, you have to look at the LEDs underneath. Green LEDs mean front, red LEDs mean back. It's important to know which is the front and which is the back of your drone when you're flying. That way, when you hit the remote to make a right, it doesn't go to the left. It's important to know which way it's facing. We're going to move into actually controlling your drone next. And by the way, when you do the syncing between your remote and your drone, always make sure the drone is on a flat surface so that when you're taking off from that position, it's nice and level. Hey, just a side note here. This drone is designed for outdoor flight, and you want to make sure that there's nothing in the area that it could possibly crash into. So when you're flying your new Cloud Rider, especially as a beginner, you want to make sure that you're in a wide open space. Lots of soft grass to land it on, nothing that is obstructive that it could crash into. So find yourself a big open field, maybe a park or a football field, baseball field, something like that. That's the perfect place to learn how to fly your drone. Okay, so a quick overview of your remote and the large display that's on the bottom of it. Right here, this big display panel tells you everything that's actually going on with your drone at the time. So if I take this stick right here and I push it up, you'll see all the propellers begin rotating around on the drone just like that. That tells me that it's activated and the propellers are turning. You'll also see right here, I have 40%, 60%, 80%, and all the way over here on the other side is 100%. Those are your speed buttons. So right now I'm using 40% responsiveness. That means it's going to turn slower. It's going to, respond to my controller a little slower. I can go to 60, 80, or 100. At 80% and 100%, you can do stunts in the air. It will not do a stunt at 40% or 60%. Those are your more conservative speed settings. On the bottom, it's actually telling you the percentage of throttle that you're giving it. So if I push this up, right now I'm at 21% throttle. That's not enough to make my drone take off in front of me. But if I go up even higher, there it goes. That's that percentage that actually tells you just how much throttle you're giving it. All kinds of great controls, including this one up here on the shoulder, which triggers your camera on and off. and this one over here on this side that you're going to use to do stunts. You even have a button right here where you can turn the lights on the drone on and off. If you want to hit that button, you want to turn off the LED lights on the drone, you can do that. You see them going on and off as I hit that button. So that's kind of an overview. The only other thing you would really need to adjust are your trim controls. You can see your owner's manual on how to properly adjust those. That's for a little bit more advanced flying. But you do have on the bottom here, you'll see right there, I've got 2 little meters, and here are 2 little meters. Those are actually showing me how much trim I'm giving the drone in order to compensate for drift. And all of that can be adjusted with real-time readouts right there on your display as well. So as you get more advanced in flying your drone, you'll be able to use your trim controls, and that'll help you stay even more in control of it while it's in the air. Now we're actually going to get into flying techniques and what you need to do to actually hover and steer. Now it's time to get your drone in the air. And that's real easy to do with the 2 sticks that I have under my thumbs. That left-hand stick is your throttle. I'm gonna push that up, just ease it up so that I can get my drone hovering. Now right now I'm doing this in our studio just to show you how incredibly controllable your Cloud Rider is. You are gonna do this outdoors, especially as a beginner, because you wanna make sure that you've got plenty of space to fly your Cloud Rider around. That way you don't have to worry about crashing into anything. The next maneuver you're going to do uses that same stick. When you have your throttle up and it's hovering nice and steady, then go left and right with that stick and practice twisting it or turning it in midair. It happens just like this. Nice and steady, and then twist, 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 twist. That's how you're going to do it, just like that. It takes some practice over and over and over again to get a real strong mastery of that particular function. But it's important because as you're flying your drone, if it ends up facing away from you, or if it ends up facing in the wrong direction, that's how you're going to turn it back around so that the front end is facing away from you. That way all of your controls respond properly. Now we're going to practice banking, left and right and forward and back. So while you're up in the air, hovering just like this, you're going to use that right hand stick and you're going to bank back and forth. It's not a difficult thing to do, and of course you're going to be doing it outdoors where you have plenty of space to do so. Right there you can see it going back and forth. It's a very wide maneuver and you want plenty of space to do that. Then you're going to do the same thing going forward and back with that same kind of banking maneuver, away from you and closer to you. It happens with that same stick. Okay, now it's very important that you try and keep your drone at eye level, maybe, between 5 and 10 feet off the ground. You don't really want to go higher than that, because if you fly your drone too high, especially as a beginner, you can lose sight of it and you don't really know which is the front and which is the back anymore. The higher you get it up in the air, the more susceptible it is to maybe breezes or wind that could be up that high. It's very easy to lose your drone, have it be swept away or lose control over it. Many people break their drones that way. You want to make sure that you're under control of your drone the entire time, especially as a beginner. So when you're in a wide open space flying it, make sure that you keep it within 5 to 10 feet off the ground. That's safe. One of the more awesome things that your Cloud Rider does is stunts in the air, and they're very simple to do. On your remote control, right up on the right shoulder is a button that when you push it, it activates stunt mode. The next thing your Cloud Rider is waiting for is to see which direction you're going to push this stick. This stick right here will determine whether it does a flip to the left, to the right, forward, or back. Either way, whichever way you push that stick is the direction it will do that 360-degree stunt. Now, between each one of those stunts, you're going to need to push the button to arm stunt mode again so that it's waiting to see which direction that stick goes. And you can do it over and over again. You don't need to wait. You can do a flip forward, hit the button, do a flip back, hit the button, do a flip right. It's one of the more fun things that you can certainly do with your Cloud Rider. Next, we're going to talk about the onboard camera. Definitely one of the cooler things about this particular model. So definitely one of the coolest things your Cloud Rider does is it takes photographs and it takes video. Now when it comes to you in the box, the camera is going to be separate from the drone itself. You're going to go underneath the drone and you see these 2 little tiny horseshoe shaped little hooks underneath there. Let me see if I can get them on camera really well. There you go. You can see right through them there. That's where your camera is going to mount. On the camera itself, it has 2 little feet that slide right into those 2 little horseshoe-shaped hooks. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to slide it right up into those 2 little hooks and latch it in place. Now, you need to make sure that the camera lens itself is facing toward the front of the drone. And of course, this is the front. You know that because of the orange propellers right up there on top. And of course, the big LED headlight that's on the front there. So make sure your camera is facing forward. Then the camera actually has this long cord on it. I found it helpful to wrap the cord around the camera itself to try and take up the slack. And then right down here in the side are 4 different sockets. Now they have different labels on them. It's the second one down right there that is labeled camera. And on that one, you want to take that little cord that you have and you want to slide it right into that socket just like that and kind of press it into place. Okay, and that's it. Now your camera is mounted. The camera lens itself is designed to be able to go forward and back, to kind of up and down just like this. So you can actually set the angle that you want to take photographs or video at just by adjusting that with your hand. And then around the back side of the camera is a little slot for an SD card. Grab any micro SD card and slide it right in that slot and it will record all of your pictures and video right to that card. Now, how do you actually start and stop the camera while the drone's in flight? That's very, very simple. First, up here on this side, on this shoulder, it'll be your left-hand shoulder button right there, is your video button. When you push that, it will begin taking video. Down here on the lower side, this is your photograph button. When I push that, it will take a photograph. You actually saw it flash function right there. That's a photograph that it takes each time you push that button. So very, very simple to do that, to trigger your video on and off, to take photographs while it's in flight. It's designed to keep you entertained, not just in flight, but later on when you plug in your videos and get to see what you captured from up in the air. So what happens if you're flying your Cloud Rider and it crashes and something pops off or something breaks? No problem. Your Cloud Rider has fully replaceable parts. It's designed that way. And as a matter of fact, if you go to propelrc.com, you can sign up for their flight club, which gives you free replacement parts for an entire year. All you have to do is pay for the shipping to get them to you, or call their customer service agents. They're more than happy to help you out. Now, in the box with your Cloud Rider came some spare propellers. You see them sitting right here. It's important to note that these propellers don't fit on every single one of the motors. As a matter of fact, each propeller has only one motor it will fit on. So just because I'm holding an orange one doesn't mean I can put it here or here. This one is designed for only one of these 2 motors. Refer to your owner's manual. It will tell you which propeller goes on which motor. It's now time to get your Cloud Rider outside, begin to master flying. Enjoy.